There are conversations that change history forever. Moments where words become heavier than mountains. Moments where people speak knowing time is running out. And perhaps no conversation in human history carries more emotional weight than the final words Jesus spoke before the crucifixion, because on that night, everything was already beginning to collapse. Betrayal was moving quietly through the darkness. Fear was approaching. Violence was coming. And somewhere beneath the flickering candlelight of the Last Supper, Jesus looked at the people he loved and began preparing them for a future they could not yet emotionally survive. But perhaps the most haunting part of all was this. They still did not fully understand what was about to happen. Imagine the emotional atmosphere inside that room. The disciples gathered around the table, eating together, speaking quietly, completely unaware that within hours, their entire world would shatter. And perhaps that detail feels painfully human, because sometimes people are living inside the final normal moment of their lives without realizing it. A final dinner, a final conversation, a final goodbye they did not know was a goodbye. And perhaps that is why the Last Supper feels so emotionally devastating, because Jesus already knew the suffering approaching, while the disciples still clung to ordinary expectations. The disciples still imagined earthly victory, power, restoration, a kingdom rising visibly before the world. But Jesus began speaking about suffering, sacrifice, departure, and confusion slowly entered the room, because human beings naturally resist painful truths. We want triumph without suffering, victory without sacrifice, hope without heartbreak. But Jesus understood something humanity still struggles to accept. Transformation often passes through pain first. Then Jesus said something terrifying. "One of you will betray me." Imagine the silence that followed, the confusion, the fear, the disciples looking around the table wondering who could possibly do such a thing. And perhaps one of the most disturbing parts of the story is that Judas was sitting among them the entire time, close enough to hear every teaching, close enough to witness miracles, close enough to walk beside Jesus personally, and still, darkness had already entered his heart. That truth unsettles people deeply, because proximity to truth does not automatically transform the human soul. People can stand near light, while secretly choosing darkness internally. One by one, the disciples began asking, "Is it me?" That question matters deeply, because hidden inside it is human insecurity, human weakness, the fear that perhaps darkness exists inside all people more than they want to admit. And honestly, that fear is not entirely wrong. Human beings are capable of incredible compassion and terrible betrayal, extraordinary love, and devastating selfishness, sometimes simultaneously. And perhaps Jesus understood human nature more deeply than anyone else ever has. Then came one of the most emotionally overwhelming moments in the gospel story. Jesus broke the bread, poured the wine, and spoke words humanity would remember forever. "This is my body. This is my blood." At first, the disciples likely did not fully understand. How could they? The horror of the crucifixion had not yet happened. But Jesus was preparing them for something much deeper than ritual. Sacrifice, redemption, a love willing to suffer for others. And perhaps this remains one of the hardest truths for humanity to comprehend. Real love costs something. Real love sacrifices. Real love stays present even when suffering begins. Then Jesus did something almost unbelievable. He washed the disciples' feet, the Creator kneeling before his followers, the Son of God performing the task of a servant. That image destroys human ideas about power completely, because humanity often associates greatness with dominance, control, status, superiority. But Jesus revealed a different kind of greatness: humility, service, compassion. And maybe that is one reason his message still feels revolutionary thousands of years later. Because ego dominates human systems constantly. People compete endlessly for importance, recognition, validation. But Jesus moved in the opposite direction entirely. Peter could barely accept it. "You shall never wash my feet." And perhaps Peter's reaction reveals another deep human struggle. People often feel uncomfortable receiving grace, receiving love, receiving humility, because pride convinces people strength means self-sufficiency. But Jesus continued teaching something deeper. Human beings need cleansing beyond the physical. The soul itself needs restoration. And perhaps millions today still search for that restoration everywhere except where it truly exists. Then Jesus spoke words that likely terrified the disciples. "You will all fall away." Peter immediately protested, confident, passionate, certain of his loyalty. "Even if everyone else leaves you, I never will." But Jesus already knew what fear would do later that night. Before sunrise, Peter would deny even knowing him. That moment matters profoundly because it reveals how fragile human courage can become under pressure. People often overestimate themselves during safety, then collapse emotionally when fear arrives. And perhaps many people listening know that feeling personally, the pain of failing in moments they believed they would stay strong. As the night continued, Jesus began speaking more urgently about love, about remaining faithful, about the hatred the world would bring, and hidden beneath every word was sorrow. Because Jesus knew what was coming: the betrayal, the arrest, the beatings, the cross. And perhaps the emotional weight of that knowledge is difficult to fully imagine. To sit calmly beside friends, while already knowing suffering is only hours away, yet still, he comforted them instead of himself. That is extraordinary. Then Jesus spoke words that still comfort millions of anxious souls today. "Do not let your hearts be troubled." Imagine hearing those words from someone who himself was walking toward unimaginable suffering. That changes their meaning entirely, because Jesus was not speaking from comfort. He was speaking from the edge of agony. And perhaps that is why his words still carry such emotional power. They were born inside suffering, not outside it. Jesus told them he would leave, but not abandon them. That darkness would come, but not win forever. That grief would overwhelm them temporarily, but joy would return. The disciples could not fully understand those promises yet. Pain clouds understanding. Fear narrows perspective. And perhaps that remains true for humanity today. People trapped inside suffering often cannot imagine restoration while pain is happening. But Jesus kept pointing beyond the darkness ahead, beyond the cross, beyond death itself, toward hope. Then finally, they left the table, walking into the night toward Gethsemane. And perhaps this is where the emotional atmosphere becomes unbearable, because every step carried Jesus closer to betrayal, closer to suffering, closer to crucifixion, and still, he kept walking forward willingly. That truth alone changes everything, because humanity understands power through force, but Jesus revealed power through sacrifice. Inside the garden, Jesus prayed in agony. The disciples struggled to stay awake, exhaustion consuming them, fear approaching quietly, and beneath the olive trees, the crushing emotional weight of what was coming became almost unbearable. "Father, if possible, let this cup pass from me." Those words matter deeply because they reveal the humanity of Jesus completely. He felt anguish, fear, emotional pain, And perhaps suffering becomes less isolating when people realize even Christ himself experienced agony. Then came the torches in the darkness, footsteps approaching, weapons glimmering beneath the night sky, Judas arriving with soldiers, and suddenly, everything Jesus warned about began unfolding exactly as he said. The disciples panicked, fear exploded, chaos spread, and perhaps one of the saddest truths in the Bible happened next. The men who promised loyalty scattered into darkness. Fear overcame devotion. Self-preservation overcame courage. And honestly, humanity still repeats that pattern constantly. So what did Jesus say before the crucifixion that changed everything? Perhaps it was this: that love is stronger than fear, that humility is greater than power, that sacrifice can transform darkness itself, and that even when suffering appears victorious, hope is still moving beneath the surface. Maybe tonight, someone listening feels emotionally overwhelmed, afraid, spiritually exhausted, but hidden inside the final words of Jesus is a sacred truth humanity desperately needs. Darkness may arrive suddenly, pain may feel unbearable, but love, real love, does not disappear when suffering begins. Which moment from the Last Supper affects you most deeply? And do you believe humanity still struggles with the same fears the disciples faced that night? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Sacred Truth for more cinematic journeys through the deepest emotional stories and mysteries of the Bible. And if this message touched your soul tonight, share it with someone walking through fear or uncertainty, because sometimes the words people need most arrive right before the darkest night begins.